Nobody normally gets killed around here. So it took me a moment to tipple what she was saying. I said, "Dead? Was it a heart attack?" She said, "Oh no, nothing like that. They have a lovely magnolia." So once when I was out gardening, I shouted over, "You've had much more luck with your magnolia grandiflora than I have." She just smiled and said, "Yes." I do that all the time. Start a conversation but can't keep it going. I went in. I said, "Has he been poorly?" She said, "Oh no, I've a feeling he's dead. Come through." I think she might have been drinking. So when we walked in, there he was, on the rug, blood and whatnot coming out behind his head. And it's awful because the first thing I thought was, well, she'll never get that out. I said, "Should I touch him?" She said, "You can if you want. I know he's dead. I've been looking at him for an hour." I remember Henry saying something about him having something to do with vending machines. So I said to her, "Did he bang his head, do you think?" She said, "No, I shot him. I've put the gun away." And she opens the drawers, and there it is, in between the placemats and playing cards. I thought of calling 999, but I never know what constitutes as an emergency. I just thought, well, she's been here an hour already. I might as well make her some tea. So, as I went boiling the kettle, I said, "The police haven't already been, have they?" She said, "No, why?" I said, "Oh, nothing. It's just that there was a pair of handcuffs on the draining board." Policeman had some difficulty writing all over the place. I asked him if he thought anything had been going on. He said, "It's marriages, isn't it? The stresses and the strains of." I was just writing my witness statement when Henry walks through the door and of course prolongs the whole process. He said, "I don't know if Miss Horrocks quite means what she says, officer. When you spoke to me, you said," and I said, "Henry, you weren't there." So he just sits there for a minute, whistling under his breath. And then he goes up and attacks his computer. Once the policeman had left, I went to see him and I said, did he think anything had been going on? Of course, it's just that she had nothing on under that linen dress. This embarrasses Henry. Oh, he's such an innocent. And he said, "Rosemary, I don't know what sort of planet you're living on, but let's just remember a man has died." So I went to the shops. There were still 2 people outside of number 17, reporters. They said, "Are you the neighbour? Did you know the McCorderdales?" I didn't say anything. One of them said, "You owe it to the community." So I said, "You owe it to the community not to break off branches of people's magnolias." Of course, that's when the photographer takes a photo of me looking like a mad woman. I heard him again last night, whistling under his breath. I said, "Are you thinking about the McCorderdales?" He said, "No, I'm thinking of the house. Prices are up as it is, and something like this isn't going to help. You must try not to be upset. But if we don't get the 195, we can kiss goodbye to Marbella." I just keep thinking, should I have told someone about the handcuffs? I put on my greeny colour costume. When I came down, Henry said, "Oh, you're going in that?" So I changed into the black. No reason, really. It was all very casual. They let her sit down most of the time. I gave her a little smile. She did look poorly. Pleaded not guilty. Then the lawyer steps forward and says all these things that were wrong with her when they'd arrested her. Bruises, fractures, old cigarette burns, one of her teeth loose. Then another lawyer jumps up and says, were there other people involved? She said no, and they said they wouldn't press any further with that. Policewoman came over, said, did I want any counselling? I'm entitled to it, apparently, having seen a dead body. Lovely girl, though she did go on about all the tragic events that she'd been involved in. Accidents and violence. She said when she'd been to therapy, one of the things they told her is it was best to face things head first, and that when the police started digging, there was room for discomfort and distress. I said, why should that affect me? She said, all the indicators are it won't, but the potential is there. And I want you to know that I'm here for you. I said to Henry, it's nice that she should care so much. She said, it's what he's there for, unfortunately. There was a letter in the mail today, a newspaper as well. All silly stuff about the case. With her garden overgrown, it just made me want to go over and cut a bit back. But I thought Henry would say it was inadvisable. Turns out he's all for it. Though it must be said, for very different reasons than mine. His is so we can get anywhere near our asking price. But I went over. I gave a chance for the Achillea to grow through. Cut back on the poppies. I thought I could take them to the hospital. Though some people might find that a bit funny. Lots of funny comments too. Along the lines of Miss Peppenbottom's, who do I need to shoot for you to come do my garden? Smile got a bit forced after that. Though Sheila Blanchard did come and cut back the weeds with me. She's in full agreement. She said, husbands, Rosemary, who needs them? I said, well, they can be a comfort. She said, can they? My Reggie isn't. What's your Henry like? And I said, very considerate. She smiled, but I know it'll be up and down the street come tomorrow. But he is considerate. I wish he wasn't sometimes. What he doesn't know is I've been going to see Miss McCorderdale to give her updates. She rang me. I didn't know you could do that from prison. Just ring up. Her name's Fran. Dear Fran. "30 years of marriage and you think you know someone." But no. I said to Fran, he's a lot more concerned about you than he's ever been concerned about me. I mean, the day I went for my scan, He went to a golf tournament. It's all come out in court, though. They produced a collar and lead in evidence. He beat her, terrorised her. A protracted array of torture, counsel said. The judge only gave her 2 years. Got it off of some law and order brigade. I can't see her as often now that she's been convicted. Henry doesn't even know I go to see her at all. I've never had a best friend before. Never had one. Never been one. And not having children, I wasn't part of that club either. She's transformed the garden. So we go and sit on a bench, and she tells me all the stuff he put her through. She said she wants me to know if it means I don't want to see her anymore. I said, don't be silly. He put a bag over her head. People watched. More than watched, actually. One of them, who had a funny habit of whistling under his breath. Of course, a lot of people do that.